Hello, everybody. My name is Ed Overstreet. I am the Night Sky Imager, and welcome to this short video on imaging the sun. Before I go any further, I'd like to congratulate my granddaughter, Catherine Overstreet, who at 8 o'clock tonight will graduate from Dorman High School, and she will continue her education as she and one of her good friends will bunk up at the University of South Carolina. Go Gamecocks. With that being said, although this video is first appearing on Facebook, it will ultimately end up on my YouTube channel, which is the Night Sky Imager YouTube channel. I also have a website called nightskyimager.com. And there you'll find a lot of my images from deep space, the sun, the moon, a few planets, and some tutorials and some links to some of my favorite astronomical websites. But the sun has been very active in the last few days. There are some spots that are representative of these chroma mass ejections, and they are spitting stuff hundreds of thousands of miles into space, and they're creating some havoc. In fact, a few days ago, it was reported that one of those ejections came very close to Earth, and if one ever hit Earth, that would be it. That would be the end of it. But the last time that happened, it affected our power grid, and of course, if our power grid went down indefinitely, that would change things in this world a great deal. But all that being said, let's take a look at the sun, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to share my screen. It's going to take me a second to get there. Here we are. One of the things I want to do very quickly, get rid of that window, is I want to move my mount and reposition the sun so that top sunspot is in the crosshairs. And I got to figure which way is which here on the direction. I'm using this directional hand controller. It's controlling my gear remotely. All right. I want to kind of keep it there. And I also want to take a quick capture. I'm going to take 1,000 frames very quickly. I'm taking them at the rate of 60 frames per second. Down here at the bottom, you can see where the frames are accumulating. I'm at 900 frames now, and it is done. But while that is also happening, I want to show you what I'm using. This is the solar scope that I'm using, the one on the bottom, and it is a refractor by Astrotech called the 65 EDQ, and attached to that, this green deal is a automatic or electronic focuser, which allows me to sit in my cluttered up office that you see in the background. This is I call it my observatory, and I have laptops that are located outside. As a matter of fact, we'll take a look at that real quickly. Hang on just one second, and I'll move us over there. And it is this telescope on the far right, this one over here on the far right, that I am using. These two telescopes that are mounted permanently on these piers on concrete, I used all last night. They imaged from 9 o'clock until about 5:15 this morning. So let's go back to the scopes that I'm using. The one on the bottom again is the 65 EDQ by Astrotech. This is a Moonlight electronic focuser. And then the next long piece here in the optical train is called the Quark, Q-U-A-R-K, Quark chromosphere. And this is what's doing all of the heavy lifting on filtering out the ultra brightness of the sun and only allowing hydrogen alpha bandwidth waves to enter the sensor on, which is the camera here. On top of this is another telescope, and this is the Solar Scout. It's made, both the chromosphere and the Solar Scout are made by a company called Daystar. And a similar looking chromosphere is attached to this small refractor. It does not have an electronic focuser, unfortunately, and I have to, this is a helical focuser, and I have to turn this in order to get it in focus, which means that I have to use my laptop outside, focus, go check the laptop, focus, go check the laptop, and go back and forth until I feel like I have a good focus. And but at any rate, one other thing I might point out. Hang on just 1 second. I'll go back to this. This is my observatory. This umbrella. Our homeowners association does not permit outbuildings unless it has the same kind of roof and the same kind of siding as the house, and I get that, and I understand that. I wish I could have put a small outbuilding here with a slide-off roof to add greater protection for the gear, but I can't, and so the umbrella, to try to keep the heat off. I'm not concerned about the rain or winds, as I use telegizmos by 365 telegizmos to cover these scopes, and it does the weather protecting that I never expected could happen, but it does. They do work, and they stay out year round. All three of these do. This is not a permanent kit, though, and it will not be, because I sometimes take this with me. This is a good size carry kit to take if you're going to go to a star party, or you're just interested in going to a dark site and getting better views of the deep space. All right, let's go back to the sun now, and as promised, let's go to where are we? Okay, you should have it. We're going to have to again reposition the sun slightly. I need to draw arrows and remind me which way north goes and which way east goes and which way west goes. I thought I had it. And one of the reasons why I want these crosshairs lined up is that I'm going to be taking a series of several hundred of these videos, and I'm going to stack them together into a time lapse. And after I've done that, here we go. And after I've done that, I'll put that on Facebook. It'll be an animated time lapse, and what you'll be seeing will be a lot of activity coming out of these sunspots. It does appear at times that this is going in and out of focus. Well, the focus really isn't changing, but the atmosphere does. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of thermal activity between here and the sun, and so it creates some waviness. And for that reason, when you image the sun, and planets for that matter, one of the things that you'll do is take video files, and you'll take like 1,000 frame files, and then you sort through the frames. Actually, there's a program called Auto Stacker that sorts through them for you, and it will pick out the percentage of the quality you're looking for. You can say, I want the top 50%, top 10%, top 20%, and it'll go sort those out. And if you have 1,000 frames and you're looking for the top 50%, then 500 frames will be pulled out of this mess, and then you can start working with the best of the best. Right now, I haven't touched anything, and it's a much clearer focus, and that just has to do with atmosphere. So I'm going to knock off some, capture some right now, and at the bottom left, you can see where I am capturing frames at the rate of 62 frames per second, and I want 1,000 frames, and we're about done, and we're done. And so I've completed the capture of 1,014 frames. One of them was dropped, and it took 16 seconds to do that at the 62.3 frames per second. I'm saving these to an external hard drive because this file named 101726 is so large, as you can imagine, a video file, that it would fill up my hard drive if I had that. Just use that. Sorry, I'm smacking my lips. Just had breakfast. Okay. Well, with that being said, these are the sunspots that are driving us nuts right now. If you've noticed that your Wi-Fi and your streaming and other things aren't working as well, there's just a lot of activity on the sun that's at the root of a lot of those problems. If you run a sideband, a single sideband, or do citizen band communication, you're probably getting poor connectivity, and people that you could talk with yesterday or 2 months ago, you may not be able to rouse up because of the interference. But at any rate, I want to do one other thing. I said we have the Solar Scout riding on top. I'm going to go up here and change telescopes. The camera that I was using on the bottom telescope with the chromosphere was called the ASI 174 monochrome camera. I'm going to be using the ASI 120 monochrome camera now, and that's on the top telescope, the Solar Scout. I doubt we'll be centered. In fact, we're not in it at all. Let's raise the, oh, we are centered. There you go. We're not at the same place, but there you are with the surface of the sun. One reason why I do like this particular camera riding on top is that this gives you a much closer view of the sun's surface. You can probably also notice that there's some banding that's going on from the top left to the bottom right. It just looks like lines, some banding that's not vertical, not horizontal, it's about in between. And these are called Newton rings. And it has to do with the sensor's alignment with the refractor's elements. So what I'll need to do is go out and adjust the sensor alignment, and they have tilt devices that allow you to do that to help minimize this. The other thing I can do is just get lazy and do nothing and take a picture of this same view while the telescope is defocused. And when it's defocused, you won't see these rings. And so, well, you'll see some of them, and I'll use that to subtract from the final image to remove them. So it's just a little trick that lets you to remove dust spots and imperfections in the optical train from your final image, so that you don't have these artifacts showing up on your picture. See this spot right here and this spot right here, which are very pronounced. Then you have these kind of subtle, round, grayed out areas. These are dust spots. My guess would be these two spots are actually on the camera sensor, and these are on the quark chromosphere. Rarely do you see spots that are on the elements in the lens or in the camera. It's too far away from the sensor. It shoots right through that. But the ones on the close to the sensor will give you these artifacts. And either you have to clean it often, and not only do you have to clean it often, there's no insurance that you're going to get them off. You may look, and it may look spotless until you mount it, and then you find, oh, I've got more. I've actually cleaned my lenses, put them back on, started imaging, and it was in worse shape than it was before I started. So that may have to do with 76-year-old eyes too. But all that being said, I would prefer to defocus the image, take a few flat frames. That will capture all the optical mess and single out what's the sun's the image that I actually want, because it won't be in there when I defocus, and then I can subtract those two and end up with an image without this stuff in it. Okay, let's go back to my. I'm going to go back to the 174 camera. I'm going to say goodbye right now. I'm going to realign, and I'm going to start taking a series of images as I'm looking to get this time lapse done, and looking forward to seeing the activity that the time lapse is going to show on this part of the sun, because you'll see stuff swirling in and out. You'll see little flares coming off, and coronal mass ejections. You'll see a lot of activity on it, and it's just it happens in such a way that you don't see it when you're taking 16 millisecond images. They're just so short. So with that being said, I hope everybody has a great day. And again, congratulations to my granddaughter on completing her education. She received multiple honors, and honors like Honor Society and stuff that I never did. And I'm just very tickled for her. And good luck to her as she heads down to the University of South Carolina. Y'all have a great day and a great upcoming weekend.